All right, you guys, welcome back to the Integration Code. I'm your host, Kaylin Rutkowski, and thank you for being here today. So, there is a conversation that I've been wanting to have, and this isn't something that I would typically go into, but it's just been weighing heavy on my heart, just something I'm contemplating, and I feel called to share it with you. And before I even get into it today, I would love for you to take a moment to just slow down. Not in your mind, but really in the body. Because today's conversation isn't just something that I want you to understand, it's something that I want you to feel. And this download came to me through a moment of stillness. And it wasn't in a thought, but in this full body knowing. A quiet kind of grief. And what really is moving through me is this idea that the world is just not in a state of chaos. The world is really grieving the absence of the mother. And when I say mother, I'm not speaking about a person. I'm speaking about a presence, an intelligence, a way of really being in relationship with life that humanity has really lost touch with. And once I felt that, it's like I can't unfeel this, right? It's this thing that keeps like building inside of me right now. And I think like we have to talk about just this energy of distortion that is really beneath everything. And it's like what I'm noticing is we keep trying to fix the world from the surface. We talk about the systems, we'll talk about leadership, we talk about what needs to change like out there. But many few people are asking, you know, what is the field that this is all arising from? Because behavior is never the root, it is the expression. And what I keep seeing again and again is this: we are living in a world shaped by power that was never taught reverence. And I want you to sit with that. Power without reverence. That is distortion. Because reverence is not something that you can think your way into, it is something you feel. It is a felt experience in the body. It is something you're taught through relationship. And that is the role of the mother. The mother teaches us how to stay in a body when sensation arises, how to stay when emotion begins to move through, how to stay when life feels overwhelming, right? The mother teaches you how to feel without abandoning yourself. She teaches you how to listen, not just to the words, but to what is underneath, to the energy, to the truth, to what's real. The mother teaches us reverence. And why this is important is because when you are in reverence, you're not trying to dominate life. You do not extract from it. You're not trying to override it. You move in relationship with it. You feel it. You respect it. You honor it. And right now, I feel like that's what's missing. It's like when the mother is missing, a human being can become powerful without ever becoming reverent. They can learn how to achieve, to be successful, right? Without ever learning how to feel. They can learn how to control without ever learning how to listen. And when this happens at scale, you don't just get wounded individuals, you get a wounded world. And that's what we're witnessing today. A world that treats the earth as something to use, a world that treats the body as something to override, a world that treats people as things to manage. That's not random. This is what happens when reverence was never rooted. And honestly, it's bringing up this just awareness in me that we often speak about boys needing fathers, and they do, right? I'm not negotiating that, but there's another truth that we rarely name. What happens when a boy grows up without ever being initiated into reverence? Without ever being shown how to feel? Without ever being taught that the feminine is sacred? Then we have these men, these boys who know how to move through the world, but don't know how to be in relationship with it. And again, this isn't to blame, this is just to clarify, to name, because we can't begin to change, to alchemize something that we refuse to see. And if you really let yourself feel into this, into the energy behind my words, it's almost like there's a grief here. Not a loud grief, but a quiet one. The kind that you can feel in your chest when something's missing, but you can't quite name it. It lives in the disconnection people feel from themselves, in the way people override their body, and the way people cannot sit with their own emotions without needing some form to escape or to numb. It lives in chronic exhaustion and numbness and this constant seeking for something that feels real. This is the body remembering it lost something along the way. And in the same breath, it's like if you really sit with this energy, you can feel that something is shifting. You can feel it. There's this kind of like fork in the road, or this turning happening where people are slowing down. They're beginning to question. They're craving depth, craving truth, like craving just something real. And that's evidence of this remembrance happening. Not in the mind, but in the body. And that quiet voice that says there has to be something more than this, right? It's a pulling, a longing, an ache. And that is the mother. She's not gone, she's calling. And this is where it becomes personal, not philosophical, personal. It's looking at, where have you left your body? Where have you stopped listening? Where have you chosen control over connection? Where have you forgotten that your life is sacred? Because the return of the mother doesn't happen all at once. It happens in these moments. In these moments, you slow down enough to actually feel. In the moments, you choose to stay instead of leaving. In the moments, you listen instead of trying to override or leave the body. In the moment, you treat your body as something to be in relationship with instead of something that needs to be managed or controlled. This is how the mother returns, through you. The world right now, you guys, doesn't need more force. It doesn't need more control. It doesn't need more people trying to dominate their way into safety. The world is calling for reverence. It needs relationship. It needs human beings who remember how to feel, how to listen, how to hold power without losing connection to love. The mother has never left, but she is waiting, waiting to be felt and to be lived again. And maybe that is, the deeper work for all of us at this time, to remember. So I just want to say thank you for being here. And if this episode is illuminating something for you, if something is being awakened, if there's that pulling, a calling, I would love to explore what this work could look like with you. I facilitate at home altered state therapy where we use psychedelics to consciously disassociate, to reclaim our bodies, our truth, our aliveness, and to really not only access something profound, something cathartic, something healing, but to actually become the person who lives it. So, if you want to learn more about this work, you can head over to the show notes. And if not, I'll see you on the next episode.